folks, it's Rao. I am going to speak about the yearly forecasts today. I'm going to go over some trends for 2019, and then I will also give you a general overview of your sign. Remember, this is a general forecast for each sign, and I would advise that you listen to both your moon sign as well as your rising sign. And again, this is according to the sidereal and not the tropical calculation. So please check your sidereal sign for this. So the big question is, as usual, should you see the transit from the ascendant or should you see it from the moon? Now remember, ascendant stands for the intellect. It stands for your personality, your intelligence. So the effects that you experience are going to be visible and can be seen by everyone. Whereas the moon, everything is happening at the mental and the emotional level. So it will be more hidden, more personal, more internal, and sometimes more painful. So it may not be visible to the world as it can be shielded by you. Now, what your dasha will promise is going to take precedence and priority over any of the transits. So, for instance, if you are in the Saturn dasha, then I would place more emphasis on the Saturn transit and see how it impacts you and your life. Now, of course, the biggest news this year is the movement of Rahu and Ketu. Rahu has suffered for the past 3 years in Cancer and Leo, as well as I would say Ketu as well, because they were transiting through their enemy signs. Both the Sun and Moon are the node's biggest enemies. And Rahu will finally leave on March the 23rd to go into Gemini, a sign where it does exceptionally well. And it's very comfortable here. This will bring a relief in policies related to immigration, international trade, foreign deals, all Rahu related matters. And Ketu, of course, is going into the sign of Sagittarius, which is Jupiter's sign. A really beautiful place for Ketu, and it does very well there. Of course, we have Saturn here as well, and in fact we all know that there will be a big Saturn and Ketu conjunction coming up in 2019. The months to really watch for are July, August and September, although I would say keep a watchful eye from the months of anywhere from May till October. But the summer months will be the most intense, and you will really feel it then. Another period to be watchful for this year is the period between June the 2nd and June the 16th, as we have a Mars-Rahu conjunction then, which is a very, very close conjunction, particularly given the fact that there will also be at the same time the opposition, the exact opposition, in fact, between Mars and Saturn on June the 14th. Most important retrograde this year is that of Saturn from late April till mid-September, because this will directly impact the Ketu and Saturn conjunction. Dual signs are going to experience the most dramatic changes this year. The dual signs, of course, are Gemini, Pisces, Virgo, and Sagittarius. So if you have your Sun, Moon, or even your Ascendant in any of these signs, then you're going to really feel the impact this year, and there will be a lot of changes coming your way. So for Sagittarius, what's happening in 2019? For Sagittarius, this is of course a very big year, because there's so much activity going on in your sign. It's going to be a very eventful year for you as your sign is on focus. So Jupiter will continue to move through your 12th house for most of the year, bringing a time of perhaps high expenses and maybe some seclusion as well. If you've had any health issues, they will get resolved, especially if it involves going to the hospitals or getting some sort of a treatment. It would be a great time to buy a property because of Jupiter's aspect on your 4th house. It would be a good time to also start a spiritual practice, and you will definitely get some benefits from that. Yoga retreats, meditation, any time spent in an ashram can bring you peace of mind as well. A great time to relocate abroad or take trips to unknown places. And I would say it's especially important for you to cultivate the Jupiter position and the transit that you're experiencing with Jupiter, because you've got so much going on in your sign. So if you have that to balance out all of the activity that is otherwise happening in your life, then you can stay calm and focused. Jupiter will move into the lucky 1st house in November, and you will definitely start to feel more positive and optimistic. This will also bring a relief from the heavy Sati period that you have been going through, particularly with Saturn and Ketu both transiting your moon sign. Saturn remains in your 1st house all year, which is the heart of Sati period, and can bring some loneliness and you can feel some rejection from others. Of course, this will pass, so particularly when Jupiter goes there. So I would remain optimistic and hopeful, and as I said, develop the Jupiter themes this year, which have to do with retreat and spirituality and some sort of a daily practice will definitely bring relief. It's also important to have the support of loved ones, because the Sati period can bring periods where you feel especially low. The best way to use this time is to go inward, and Saturn is telling you to do that, and so is Ketu, and in fact so is Jupiter. So it's very important to develop that area of your life if you already don't have that in place. Ketu as well will give you help because of its position in Sagittarius, where it does very well. There are actually very few signs where Ketu does well, and Sagittarius is one of them. The period, of course, to be watchful for, as it is for everyone, is between May till mid-September, as the conjunction of Saturn and Ketu is very, very close at that time. And this is particularly the case for Sagittarius, because it's all happening in Sagittarius, and even more specifically, if you've got any planets in Purvashada, you have to be watchful there and look at what houses they're ruling and how it's going to get affected. So I would say be cautious around that time, avoid any big changes and making any big decisions. The big news is Rahu moving into your 7th house in March, which will give you a strong desire to get into a relationship. If you feel strongly attracted to someone, I would say take your time to get to know them. Due to Saturn's aspect in your 7th house, this is especially important to be a little bit cautious, though Rahu will hardly allow you to do that, but you have to take a step back. Rahu also aspects your 3rd house of initiative and courage, and your 11th house of income from that place. So these areas will get a great boost, bringing opportunities for more income and more business prospects. If you wanted to start a business, this is an excellent time to do so. It's a great time to make connections with others and to join networking groups. Opportunities for business partnerships will also come your way, so it's a great time to form alliances of all type. Overall, it's a good year. I would say just be watchful for the summer months, as everyone else ought to, which is from May till mid-September, especially if you're in a Saturn or a Ketu Dasha. Yeah? All the best to you, Sagittarius.